I wasn't going to make yet another video about this manufactured scandal, but the late Virginia Giuffre's fantasy-ridden book is being serialised by a tabloid newspaper and will be published in hardback on October 21st. I doubt there'll be anything new in it, anything reliable, because her fantasies have already been put into print with the Billionaires Playboy Club, which was disclosed through legal proceedings, and you'll find that on Document Cloud. Prince Andrew did nothing wrong as far as sex is concerned. I can't speak for anything he may have done in the business world. But just to remind you, on February 27th, 2011, page 16, Ghislaine served tea from a porcelain pot. I'm reading from Newsbank. This is the Mail on Sunday article by Sharon Churcher. The article is based primarily around the photograph, that now notorious photograph. Here it is. Which shows what? Now, by this time, of course, the truth had come out about Jeffrey Epstein. Well, truth up to a certain point about his hiring underage girls for erotic massages. And Virginia Giuffre, it says here, her real name is Virginia Roberts and she now lives in Australia. Well, no, her real name is now Virginia Giuffre, was Virginia Giuffre. And there's a load of garbage here about her and Epstein. But she says here, and I quote, Ghislaine served tea from a porcelain pot and biscuits. She knew Sarah Ferguson and they talked fondly about Andrew's daughters. Then Ghislaine asked Andrew how old he thought I was, and he guessed 17, and they all laughed. Ghislaine made a joke that I was getting too old for Jeffrey. She said he'll soon have to trade her in. It was widely known that he liked young girls. The four of them went out to dinner and on to Tramp nightclub, where, she says, Andrew danced with her. After about an hour and a half, we drove back to Ghislaine's. All of us went upstairs and I asked Jeffrey to snap a picture of me with the prince. I wanted something to show my mom. Then she claims, well, what does she claim? Nothing. There is no suggestion that there was any sexual contact between Virginia and Andrew, or Andrew knew that Epstein paid her to have sex with his friends. Yet years later, I was sexually abused by a member of the royal family. Boo! When Andrew sat down for that ill-fated interview with Emily Maitlis, all he had to do when asked the question was take a copy of that article out of his pocket and read it. End of story. Why Andrew wasn't briefed properly for that sit down, I don't know. He was incredibly poorly advised, and as I've said before, it's almost as though somebody wanted this scandal and wanted to destroy him and maybe the royal family. Giuffre has been, well, she was paid enormous sums of money, not by Andrew. Giuffre was funded to sue Andrew and to sue Alan Dershowitz, him for defamation. No doubt about that. And when it came to discovery, she was unable to produce any evidence at all that she'd ever met Dershowitz even once, because she hadn't. And she backed out, claiming that she may have or might have or possibly had confused him with someone else, and showing more magnanimity than he needed or should have shown, they withdrew, and he accepted this. He shouldn't have done. But Virginia Giuffre is being called a fabulist, That is an exotic word and one I won't use. She was simply a serial liar. She lied about Andrew, she lied about Dershowitz, she lied about many people. Frankly, she was trash. She was bad from the day she was born. She claimed to have been sexually abused by a bloke named Eppinger before she met Epstein. There is absolutely no credible evidence that she met Ronald Eppinger, ever met him, or even set eyes on him. We only heard claim for this. Ghislaine Maxwell appears to be taking him by. Why this has gone on and continues to go on, I don't know. As for Andrew lying and attempting to dig up dirt, well, there's a lot of dirt to dig up. Lying about his relationship with Epstein, that is against Royal Protocol. But another way of looking at it is that he didn't turn his back on a friend. Okay, it may have been a friend who was very generous to him and to his wife, now ex-wife. But let me draw a comparison. In July 1991, Mike Tyson lured a 6-stone teenage girl to his hotel room and raped her. He was put on trial, denied it, took the stand, and that was a big mistake. Normally, I would say that in a rape case, a defendant should take the stand, but Tyson was guilty. He was found guilty. He was given not an excessive sentence. He was out in 3 years. And all that time, the boxing world and non-boxing fans, many of them, couldn't wait for his return. They didn't give a fuck about Desiree Washington. Some even made jokes about her. And he came back and he had finished his career, as it were. And it's still in occasional demand today to comment on sports and such. Mike Tyson is far from the only one. There was an actor called Leslie Grantham. He was played a rather abrasive character in a long-running TV soap opera called EastEnders, which you may have heard of. He was a convicted murderer. When he was a teen soldier in Germany, he shot a taxi driver. And he learned his thespian art, if you like, in prison, and the truth came out, but they didn't fire him. There's lots of people in the media who have very serious criminal convictions. So what? Should somebody be denied a livelihood, ostracised forever, on account of, in Andrew's case, knowing somebody who had criminal convictions? And I've said before, whatever Epstein did, it was nothing like as bad as, not the 10th or 100th of as the grooming gang scandal in Britain, which was covered up by the police and all manner of people, and they're still trying to cover it up today. So what did Andrew do? He showed misguided loyalty to a friend. He broke Royal Protocol. He's been punished more than enough. And as I say, he did nothing wrong. And people who accuse him of sexual abuse, no. I mean, if he did have sex with a 17-year-old but he was 40, 44, so what? I don't believe he did, but if he did, so what? And as I pointed out in one of my previous videos, at the time this was in the news, there was a school teacher, a senior school teacher in Wales, who was given a nearly £700,000 settlement after being sacked. He had perverted sex with two 17-year-old boys whom he met through Grindr, a homosexual dating app, and he was paid for that. he was sacked and they paid him compensation. If you had a teenage son and a teenage daughter, and you had to choose between your daughter having sex with a much older man or your son having perverted sex with a much older man, which would you choose? This really is a storm in a teacup. And share this video. Don't let these hypocrites and scumbags get away with it. Prince Andrew, still not guilty.